Angel Reese is day-to-day again, but if you've followed her career, you know what that usually means. Last year, it was a season-ending wrist injury, but a vague back issue. And wouldn't you know it, the Chicago Sky have been winning more without her. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is still shattering records, even while nursing a legitimate groin injury, and she's been right there courtside with her team as the Fever fight for a playoff spot. So, is Reese really hurt, or is this the most predictable disappearing act in WNBA history? And how was she exposed after being caught quitting on the Sky? If you think this is just another Reese PR stunt, drop a fire giraffe in the comments.
I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard.
Angel Reese is day-to-day again, and by now, fans could recite the script. The same vague updates, the same sudden vanishing act. And always, the timing just happens to align when things aren't going Chicago's way. We've seen this movie before. Last year, it was her wrist, billed as a serious fracture with surgery supposedly needed to prevent arthritis before she even hit her mid-20s. Then, poof, her season was done. No gradual comeback. No late push to finish strong. Just gone. Now the sequel's here, a mysterious back injury. No clear timetable. No real explanation. Just that it appeared right in the middle of another ugly stretch for the Sky. Look at the schedule and you can practically trace the pattern. Big losses stack up, pressure builds for her to turn it around, and suddenly she's out. Not in uniform. Not even on the bench. At this point, you could almost circle the week her day-to-day magically becomes an indefinite absence. Fever, a matchup billed as one of the WNBA's biggest draws. This is the league's self-proclaimed it girl, skipping out on the hottest rivalry of the season. Yet rewind just a few weeks, and there she was in Indiana for the All-Star game, all smiles, all cameras, even staging a marketing stunt where she bragged about taking over Caitlin Clark's trap. So apparently, the back holds up just fine when it's for attention-grabbing moments, just not when it's time to actually face Clark on the court. And that's a pattern more and more.
I think she's using her back as an excuse to sit out because she doesn't really care about basketball. I think she looks over at Caitlin Clark and says, hey, Caitlin Clark is out with a legitimate injury. I proved my point before the All-Star game when I went on a 10-game run trying to justify being on the All-Star team. When that first ballot came out, when the first voting results came out about the All-Star game and I was 13th, holy cow, Angel Reese panicked, started playing hard, tried to put up some stats to justify being on the All-Star team, did that, and now she said, hey, the Chicago Sky sucked this year, peace out. She knew, she identified once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard early in the year, and once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not gonna win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume. I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA. These losses will not be on my resume.
2 seasons, 2 injuries, each landing right when the narrative around her game is at its weakest. Each conveniently erasing the chance to see if she can push through a losing streak and still make an impact. Line those timelines up side by side, and it's hard not to see strategy where others claim bad luck. And here's where it gets almost impossible to defend. The minute she's out of the lineup, the team starts playing like an actual basketball squad. That's when this story shifts from suspicious to downright unbelievable. The Sky's win-loss column doesn't match the way they market Angel Reese. For someone pushed as the face of the franchise, the results tell a very different story, they actually perform better when she's not on the floor. And it's not some tiny fluke. The stretches without her are when the team strings together wins and avoids the sloppy, self-inflicted losses that keep them buried in the standings. For a so-called cornerstone player, that's a brutal stat line.
Let's get it! Bang! Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump. Not great! Bang!
Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow.
Yeah! Again! Do it for me. Me bound! Bang!
Just look at what happened when Chicago faced Indiana without Caitlin Clark. Everyone assumed the Fever would be vulnerable with their leader sidelined. Instead, Lexi Hull stepped in, dropped 17 points, posted a plus 22, and Indiana rolled past the sky. That's the same Chicago team that hasn't figured out how to beat Indiana in any scenario this season. Even without Clark, Hull, Boston, Mitchell, Cunningham, they all clicked because they trusted the flow of the game. Nobody was forcing bad shots just to justify a brand. Team chemistry isn't complicated. You either have players who make everyone better, or players who gum up the works. When Reese sits, the ball actually moves. The offense doesn't stall waiting for her to post up or crash the boards out of position. Instead of grinding through forced possessions, the guards run the sets, the wings cut hard, and the shots come from clean looks, not desperation heaves as the shot clock dies.
Williams gonna have to hurry, off the dribble, rolls out. Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Alexi Hull. She has needed that one to drop.
Alexi Hull catching fire.
Now Chicago just needs to get it a little bit more settled here in the half court. Nurse loses it. Mitchell 2-on-1. It's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham. Cunningham right there for two more.
It's the classic case of addition by subtraction, and the irony is impossible to ignore. Take away your supposed best player, and somehow the energy spikes. Analysts have noted the extra spacing, the quicker pace, and even the bench looking more locked in when she's not out there. Coaches won't say it outright, but you can hear it between the lines. The team plays with more urgency when every possession isn't being funneled through one ego.
What they do not understand is that coaches, and I know the WNBA in some regards isn't a real sports league, and I don't know if they think like real coaches and real people in sports, but the number one ability is availability. If you're not available, you have no value.
That's where the biggest hoax in WNBA history, label starts to stick. A real star makes you harder to beat, not easier. If your absence turns your team into a tougher opponent, the problem isn't the players around you. It's you. Chicago playing better basketball without her is getting harder to deny, no matter how the PR machine spins it. And when you stack that next to what's happening in Indiana, the contrast is brutal. While Reese vanishes and her team finds ways to win without her, Caitlin Clark steps on the floor and instantly changes everything for the Fever.
Caitlin Clark appears to have a legitimate injury that everybody can trace to a moment and a time during the games where she re-aggravated. She originally injured. She had a comeback where it lasted 2 or 3 games, re-injured it. They've hinted at a time frame of late August that she may return. Nothing but a mystery surrounds Angel Reese.